Parshas Vayechi Chazak, Tovshin Ayin Vov. We were just mentioning here how amazing it is, and it's something we always say, that before you turn around, Parshas is over. We just started Parshas Parshas, and here we go. Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, and in this week's Parsha, Yaakov Avinu, and all the Shvatim, that's it. At the end of that, next week we move on to Paroi and Mitzrayim. It's a whole different world. And it's amazing how quickly it goes by, but that's the way life goes. And one of the great inyanim in this week's Parsha, and this week's Parsha is really a Parsha that's so full of things to talk about and things to discuss. And we've discussed many of them over the past 6 years. But one of the most amazing parts of this week's Parsha is the chapter of the Birchas Yaakov. That Yaakov Avinu, before Yaakov Avinu was nifter, Yaakov Avinu gave brachos to all his children. And the Pasuk tells us that Yaakov said, before he gave the brachos to his children, Yaakov Avinu said the following. He said, He'osfu v'agido lachem. Gather together, and I will say to you, Eis asher yikro eschem b'acharis hayomim. Basically, what Yaakov Avinu was saying was, without getting into the exact literal translation of the words, Yaakov Avinu was saying, okay, everybody gather around, and I'm going to let you know what's going to happen in the future. And most Mefarshim say what that this future is referring to is that Yaakov Avinu, Chazal tell us in the Gemara, Masechet Pesachim, Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph, that Bikesh Yaakov Legalois Asaketz. Yaakov Avinu wanted to let us know, let the Shvatim know the end of days. V'nistalka mimenu shchina. At that moment that Yaakov Avinu wanted to let them know when, the exact time when Mashiach would come, when the troubles for the world would be over, and we would all be zoichet to be back together in Yerushalayim, the Shechina left Yaakov Avinu just at that very moment. And the Nesivos Shalom brings a question from the Zohar. The Zohar asks on this: if we are saying that Yaakov Avinu was stopped at that point from saying what he needed and wanted to say, why would the Torah tell us any words of Yaakov? Basically what we're saying here is that Yaakov Avinu said, okay, everybody gather around, and at that moment he was stopped. Yaakov Avinu didn't say it. So the Zohar wants to know, why would we say this at all? Just skip it. Don't say that Yaakov Avinu said and then he wanted to say, and then he had to stop saying what he wanted. Why does the Torah go through with any of the words of Yaakov Avinu here? It must be, says the Zohar, that the Torah, in what the Torah does tell us, that there's a very important message to us here in what the Torah does tell us. In other words, says the Zohar, and he says it in Aramaic, so I won't quote it exactly, but the Zohar says there were certain things that were Galia, there were certain things, it can't be that Yaakov Avinu was stopped from giving us any message at all. It must be, says the Zohar, that Yaakov Avinu was able to reveal certain things to us, but then the Shechina left. Then Yaakov Avinu was told, no, you can't continue, you can't say anymore. And the Nesivos Shalom brings down, he says that when Yaakov Avinu did say these words, He'osfu v'agido lachem, the Nesivos Shalom says that the word agida means, in the Pasuk, we know the Pasuk means agida, and I will say over to you and I will tell you. Nesivos Shalom says that the word agida also is a lashon, a way of saying agad, like a lulav, tzarech agad, a lulav meat to be together, being bound together. He'osfu v'agido lachem. And the message that Yaakov Avinu is telling us, a secret message over here. He's saying, He'osfu v'agido lachem. Gather yourselves together and bind yourselves together, and I will tell you, Eis asher yikra eschem. And yikra is also a lashon of yakar. Something which is very chashuv. Something which is extremely vital and extremely important for the times of Mashiach. So Yaakov gave us a little bit of a hint over here. He gave us a hint and he told us, bind yourself together, join together, because that itself is an extremely important message. And what is this message for the times of Mashiach? Chazal tell us in the Gemara brings down in the Sefta Sanhedrin, that we know that when we discuss Mashiach, that Zachu, the Gemara tells us, if we are Zaycha, because it's based on a pasuk of Aniach Be'ita Achishena. When we were referring to the Geula, it uses two different ways of saying it. It says Be'ita Achishena. In its time, I will hasten the Geula. So the Gemara tells us, Zachu Achishena. If Klal Yisrael is on a Madrega and is deserved at that time, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will hasten the Geula and bring it closer. But Lo Zachu, if we are not Zaycha, then there's Be'ita. There is a time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has set aside that even if Chas v'Shalom, Klal Yisrael does not ever do what they have to do, but at that point, at that time, Mashiach is going to come. So it's split. There's if we merit and if we don't merit. So Zok Nesivos Shalom. What Yaakov Avinu is telling us here, Yaakov Avinu is giving us a message, what we can do in the event of Lo Zachu. And today we really have to assume that we're in such a matzah like that. The Golus is going on for almost 2,000 years. So if the Golus becomes this long and it becomes this drawn out, Yaakov Avinu is telling us, you know what you do? Hey, asfu ve'agidu lachem. Have achdus. The way to bring Mashiach, even if really we don't deserve it on the merit of other things, is hey, asfu ve'agidu lachem. Be bound together. Have achdus in Klal Yisrael. And if you do that, then you can be Zaycha to hasten the Geula and put yourself in a matzav of Zachu, even if you really do not deserve it. Like we've mentioned in the past, we mentioned over the few years, we mentioned from the Nesivos Shalom, on the pasuk of Ve'amech kulam tzadikim. And we say that before we learn Parshas, we bring Kol Yisrael Yeshav Chelik L'Olam Haba, Shenemar Ve'amech Kulam Tzadikim. What does it mean? Everybody's tzadikim. Everybody's tzadikim. So you know what it means? Dr. Nesivos Shalom, a drush on this, he says Ve'amech Kulam. When you're together as one, Ve'amech, when the entire nation Klal Yisrael Kulam, when you're all together as one, then you're in a gather of tzadikim. In other words, there's a special world of Kol Yisrael. It's every Yid, of course, every Yid. We don't know if every Yid is actually on the same level as the other Yid, but Kol Yisrael, Yesh Lahem Chelik L'Olam Haba. One thing we can tell you for sure, that when you're Kol Yisrael, when you're all together, Zok Noyam Elimelech, that the world of Klal Yisrael together, there is no hate in that world. And there is no way that the Satan can even affect that world. Averis, so to speak, are, how do you say it? Averis are they're local. They're very singular, and they're very personal. When that's Averis. But when it comes to Achdus and Klal, and the Kol Yisrael, the entity known as Klal Yisrael, in that world, there's no Averis, there's no Satan, there's nothing. And this is a soid, says in Nesivos Shalom, this is a secret that Yaakov Avinu did reveal to us in this lesson. That even if we're in the category of Lo Zachu, and we don't deserve the Geula, even if we're in that category, you know what? There's another answer. The Achdus. If we're together and we have Achdus, we have the capability, nonetheless, to bring the Geula. And this is really something that we have to, it rolls on, the years roll on, and we discuss Geula and Achishena and everything. We don't look at it as, we don't realize that it's referring to us, and we're that generation now that's waiting. And it's really something to think about. I mean, let's be honest, let's look around. We have a lot of work to do to get on this Madrega. So the Zohar says, the Zohar that we brought down at the beginning, he said that this is the part that Yaakov was able to reveal to us. Ein Chanami, Yaakov was stopped from continuing what he wanted to say. Yaakov Avinu gave us this advice because he realized that we might be exactly where we are today. Yaakov Avinu knew that. We're what? Well, we hate to say it. We're undeserving of the Geula. And sometimes I actually think about this and I wonder, we have to remember that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Why? The second Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of Sinas Chinam. Sinas Chinam means that there was strife, there was machlokes. And why in the world do we think that this Golus is going to end before we rectify that? Chazal told us. We knew. We know why we lost the Beis Hamikdash, why we lost Eretz Yisrael. We know why. We lost it because of Sinas Chinam. And it's a wonderful thing. The amount of Torah that's going on in the world today is unreal. Unprecedented, the amount of Torah that's being learned in the world today. And the amount of chesed, every organization, and we're sitting in a fountain of chesed in Lakewood, New Jersey, right here in this room, in Bikur Cholim of Lakewood. The amount of chesed that's going on today is mind-boggling. And yet, we can say that the Vayechi Chazak is telling us, learn a lot of Torah, and have a lot of chesed, but then comes along the Yetzer Hara. And Hashem granted us the opportunity to do all this, but the Yetzer Hara comes along and says, you know what, do all of that, just not peace. Just not shalom. Just not achdus. Because you can learn Torah and you can have chesed, but you stay here in Golos. It ends up here in the United States, in Europe, and Australia. That's what we have. But just not to be together. Don't just not have achdus. And that's what the Yetzer Hara wants. And the part that Yaakov was not allowed to say was the Be'ita. That is not good for us to know. When we're going to get out of this galus, even if we do nothing. You know why? Because we have to always be trying to do something. We have to be trying to do Torah and mitzvahs and chesed, but of course we have to try to be doing the achdus. And Yaakov Avinu was not able to tell us that, what would happen if we don't. So Asfu v'agido lachem tells us that when we're together, we're like a torch. We light up the world. Klal Yisrael, when there's achdus, we light up the world. But when we're not together, Sinas Chinam makes each person, you're learning Torah, you're learning Chesed. Okay, so you're a candle, and you're another candle, you're another candle. So it's individual candles. We don't get anywhere. We don't have a torch that's going to light the way for us. And we have to actually look around how wonderful it is, and how much we're able to do. But let's be honest. I mean, how much machlokes is there? I don't want to say every Beis Medrash and Chasidus and Yeshiva, everyone ends up, you have one, then you have two, because they can't get along. And this one, I don't talk to this one, and this Rebbe I don't go to, and this person I don't follow, and this is all the Yetzer Hara telling us, you can build beautiful edifices, everything, Yeshivas, Chesed, just not that. And Yaakov Avinu, the secret is, Asfu v'agido lachem. The secret to everything, and the key to everything is Achdus. So Yaakov Avinu was stopped. But before he was stopped, he gave us a message that applies to every one of us today.